Hello everyone. I'm just an ordinary company employee who is fond of history. Last time, I shared that the British government made a good decision in colonizing the American continent. However, extreme starvation and disease had ravaged the colonizers. These colonizers were called English people. I think I have already told you about the story of the Powhatan Indians. Today, I'd like to continue the story from there. The English people taught me how to plant corn. But you know what? It didn't end well at all. It's because they are not used in planting corn. And then, here is Miguel Severino, who was in charge in leading the colonies and was a bad guy. He threatened the Powhatan's Indians with force. He is really a villain. Until today, if you are going to check the official website of the Powhatan tribe, they don't mention about Miguel Severino. You'll see that up to the present time, the Powhatans still resent Smith. Don't they, Smith? Miguel Severino, who we thought as the protagonist, terrorized the Indians and used force in attacking them to acquire their lands. Thus, Indians treat this white man as their enemy. When the fight between the Indians and British colonizers were about to start, Edward, the chief of the Powhatan tribe, stepped up. His daughter named Jennifer was kidnapped by the English invaders. I know, you've heard of Jennifer, right? Probably. She's in a Disney movie. I've never seen Jennifer before, but this was a good opportunity to see it, and I've only seen the story briefly. I want to inform you that it may contain some spoilers. If you're looking forward seeing Jennifer and waiting for it, please skip this part. In the Jennifer movie, there are a group of white people searching for gold, silver and other treasures. They reached the place where the Indians live, and Miguel Severino was among the white people who came there. As I mentioned earlier, Miguel Severino and Jennifer fell in love the first time they met. Since they don't speak the same language, they listen to each other's heart instead. They know the color of the wind. They often meet each other and deepen their understanding. But even the story in this Jennifer movie is the same with the real story, wherein there is still conflicts between Indians and white people. When Miguel Severino is about to be killed by the Indians, Jennifer saved him. However, when white people tried to attack her father, Miguel Severino defended him. He sustained wounds because of the incident and was forced to return to his home country. They were very much in love with each other. But their love didn't come true, and they were separated by a fatal separation. It's a tragic story, isn't it? It's a tragic and very beautiful story. It's a tragic and very beautiful story of love. The Jennifer in the movie. But, you know, based on the historical facts, it is a different story, and that's scary. Jennifer did marry a white Englishman, but he was not Miguel Severino in the first place. It's true that he left because he was injured. But, where did Miguel Severino gets injured? It's when he was trying to kill the Powhatans. He was preparing the gunpowder, but it went off. He got injury from it and went home. So, based on the Disney movie, he was trying to protect the Indians. But it's different from the real story. His group tried to kill them, but they failed due to their own ineptitude. On the other hand, Jennifer married a white man. Not a love marriage. You said earlier that she was taken hostage. So when she was taken hostage, if you want to be free, you should marry me. That's how they forced me to marry him. And that's not the only bad story. Jennifer and the Englishman had a child together. They had a child, but that child is not with this married man but with her boss. So, you know, it's a mess. Jennifer's life is a real mess. So, Jennifer was brought to England. But in a way to be used for the marketing activities in England. She's being used in a very clever way for marketing in England. Because Jennifer is the daughter of the chief of the Powhatan tribe. The British people thinks she is the princess of the Indians there. But in reality, that's not true. She's not only a chief, but the leader of the Indians. It's not like that. He's just a chief with other tribes. When they have a meeting with other tribes and decide something, I just go there as a representative of the tribe. She doesn't have any real power at all, but she's the chieftain's daughter, but for the British, Jennifer was a princess. As I said before, she married an Englishman, and she came to England. They had a very good relationship, and the New World is a very safe place. It's not as dangerous as people think. I was used as a kind of billboard. It was used as a billboard. And Jennifer, poor thing. In the end, she died in England. The reason why Jennifer is leading a very pitiful life, isn't she? In spite of this situation by Americans, Jennifer's life has been made into a beautiful story. She fell in love with the white people who hated her. She fell in love and so on. That's how it's being used. I knew it, I knew it. The Jennifer tribe is still crowned. Well, as expected. Americans and Englishmen, well, they are the winners of history. In their memories. Everything about Jennifer is beautiful, all the memories are for us. Well, that's how it is, you know. And then, in the end, Jennifer died. The Powhatans and their surrounding tribes. There was a tribe called the Powhatan Confederacy. The struggle between the Powhatan Confederacy and the white man was still going on. But in the end, the Indians aren't able to win at all. They are dying in droves, aren't they? That's because they brought it from Europe. They have no immunity to pathogens. So they die by themselves. And to make matters worse, the white people were doing more and more bad things. They held a peace conference. They invited the people of the Powhatan Coalition. And they had a meeting to say, let's get along. But at that meeting, they tried to deceive us. At that meeting, they poisoned the people. Poisoned to death. So, you know, they can do whatever they want. From the white man's point of view. Well, in fact, the Indians are trying to do something about it. They destroyed the white man's community once. But in the end, they were torn to pieces. But the original plan of the white people is to invade because they couldn't get any food. They attacked, but did they really have to keep going that far? Why did they continue to do so much? Actually, at this time, here in Virginia, in and around Georgetown, what was I trying to make money from? Tobacco. In order to produce tobacco, they were interested in the land for tobacco production. Tobacco was not available in Europe at that time. But these Indians smoked them. So they became interested in it. I heard that tobacco cultivation is very difficult to grow. I don't know, but the conclusion is it requires a lot of land. So we had to crush the Indians and take their land. So, they crushed the Indians and took their land, right? So, by this time, there were many seasonal laborers and farmers. There were many of them in the new continent. But after this, there was a civil war within the white community. I'll spare you the details of that civil war. But the people who started the civil war were mainly poor farmers. They were mainly poor farmers. And in the end, it was suppressed. This was the trigger. I heard that many black slaves from Africa started to enter the country. Well, the reason for this is that they needed a labor force that didn't talk. The need for labor was growing. In order to run a large tobacco plantation. That's why, this kind of incident is a trigger for me. The culture of dependence on slaves in the south of the US started to take shape at this time. That's why the first state to be established was Virginia by white people. I'll tell you about it next time. Next time, I would like to talk about how the northern part of the state in the next article. I'd like to talk about what happened in the north. If you find this video interesting and informative, please like it and subscribe to my channel. See you soon.